So hello everyone, welcome back with another video of Salesforce Geek channel, and as you can see from the thumbnail, we are going to cover HTTP callout in Salesforce Flow in this video. So as you know that now we can make a get or post callout from our Salesforce Flow, right? So in this video especially we are going to cover get callout. Also before moving ahead into the video, I am just going to let you know that if you want to learn Salesforce Flow from scratch, we have a Salesforce Flow course available on our education platform, that is cloudpadle.com. I will provide the link into the description box of this video. So if you are interested to learn Salesforce Flow from scratch, right, make sure you check out the link which is given below into the description box of this video. And also all the related details that I am going to show you in this video you can find into the description box. For example, URL of the APIs and all, right? So without any delay, let's get started. So as you can see on my screen, right, first of all, I need to move into setup. So first of all, we are going to configure our HTTP callout settings that we need to perform before creating our Salesforce flow, right? So first of all, we need to create a permission set. With the help of this permission set, we are allowing users so that they can make HTTP callout from Salesforce Flow. So this is the first step that we need to perform. So here I am going to click on permission sets, and now I am going to click on new. Here I am going to type HTTP callout flow. I am going to save. And now what I am going to do, I am going to add a user in it, that is mine user, so that I am able to make HTTP callout from my Salesforce flow, right? So here I am also going to add myself into this permission set, and here I am going to add assignment, select my user and click on next, and then click on assign. So now you can see I already added myself into the permission set. Now the second step that we need to perform is named credential and external credential. So let's type named credential into the setup and click on it. So now you can see we have named credential and external credentials available over there. So but if I click on named credential first and click on new, you will see here is a required field, that is external credential. So that means in order to make HTTP callout, we need to create our external credential as well. So before creating named credential, I am going to create a external credential first. So here I am going to click on new, and here I am going to type email validation xcred. So now similarly in the name we need to provide API name, right? But we cannot provide space between the words, right? Otherwise it will throw an error. For example, if I select this label and provide it into the name, right, it will throw me an error. So it will throw me an error when I am going to click on save. I will show you. But before moving ahead, I want to let you know that in the authentication protocol, you will see auth 2.0, AWS signature version and custom. So if a API is free, what I mean by free, if it does not require any client or secret key, etc., that means it is a free API. So you can, in this situation, you can select custom. And let's say if a API, in order to hit or fetch the data, or let's say post the data, you required client secret, API key, secret key and all, right? So in order to hit the API, you need to provide auth 2.0 here, and similarly for the AWS signature version 4. So for now, in this particular scenario, I am going to hit the free API, or you can say publicly available API. So here I am going to click on custom and I am going to click on save. So when I am going to click on save, you will see a error, right? Like, okay, the external credential API name can only contain underscore and alphanumeric character. It must be unique, begin with a letter, not include spaces and all. So it is same like API name, right? So before moving ahead, we need to provide underscore instead of spaces, so that we are able to save our external credential. So here I am going to click on save. Once the external credential is created, right, you will see related named credential over there, principal and custom headers. So for now in our example, these things are not required. Only the main thing is required is called principal. Now when you create a principal, right, what is the benefit? You can add that principal into the permission set, so that your permission set has the ability to know about the named credential, right? So because you are going to relate this particular named external credential into the named credential, then you are going to provide the principal into the permission set, so that you have the access to that named credential, right? So this is the use of creating principal record. So here I am going to click on new, and here I am going to type the parameter name. So let's say email validation principal. Here I am going to click on save. Now I need to create a named credential. So here I am going to click on new, and here I am going to type email validation, and again type email validation. Now you can see here I need to provide the URL. So in this particular example, we are going to use the abstractapi.com website, where I'm going to hit the API of email validation API. So similarly, if I go to dashboard, right, you will see there are a lot of websites which you can use in order to try. So here I am going to try email validation, right? So you will see here a primary key. I am going to blur it because it is from my personal account, right? So when you are going to create an account on this particular website, you will get your own primary key that you need to use into your Salesforce Flow. So now in order to use it, I am going to click on documentation, right? And from here into the right hand side, you can fetch the URL. So till .com, you need to copy this particular URL and provide into the named credential. So before moving ahead, let me explain you a few things. So right now you can see this is the URL that you will get basically to hit the API, right? Then there is /v1 is the external add-on into the email domain, right? And then you have two parameters, API key and email. In API key, you need to provide the API key that is you will get onto the account creation, and in the email you need to provide the email which you want to validate, like, okay, is it a valid email or not. In the right hand side, you can also see the response, like in the email someone provided johnsmith@gmail.com. Then deliverability is one attribute which is deliverable, and quality score is 0.9. So these are the parameters that you can get once you hit the API. So now what I am going to do, I am going to provide external credential here. So here I am going to select email validation external credential and hit save. So once this is done, right, I need to open my permission set. So now after doing all of this, I need to open my permission set that I created, right? So here I am going to open HTTP Callout flow, and I already added myself into this. You will see external credential principal SS. So now what I am going to do, I am going to click on edit, and I am going to select my email validation external cred and add it into the enable external credential principal. Let me click on save. Now this is the setting that we need to perform in order to basically hit the API from our Salesforce flow, right? Now what I am going to do, I am going to type flow and click on flows. Now here I am going to click on new flow, and I am going to create a screen flow because we need to provide an input from the user, like, okay, this is the email which user want to validate, and then I am going to show him the result or her the result that we get from the API, like whether it is deliverable and what is the quality score. Let me click on create. So now here I am going to click on plus and add a screen here. Let's say email input. Here I am going to add an email component from the left hand side to the screen component, and let's say email, and I'm going to make the required parameter as true, so that every single time user need to provide an input in order to get the result. So here I am going to add or configure footer. So here I am going to provide a custom label. So let's say validate email and click done. Now once this is done, what I am going to do now, I am going to hit the API with the particular email that we get from the user. So here I am going to click on action. Now in the action you will see create HTTP callout. So let's click on it. So first of all you will see create external service. So earlier, if you remember, if you are a old user of Salesforce Flow, you know that first we need to create external services first, but now we need to do it like that. So it is going to be easier than before. So here we need to provide external service name. So let's say email validation. Then I'm going to select my named credential, that is email validation, and you can see this is the URL that we have for email validation, right? I'm going to click on next. Then you will see configure invocable action. So you need to provide label for the invocable action, right? So here I'm going to type validate email. We need to select the method. So it is going to be get, because we are going to get the information from the API by providing our input. So here I am going to select get. Now your URL path. So if you closely noticed into the documentation, this is the API that we hit, right? Or let me minimize this for your better clarity. If you closely noticed here, after this particular domain, they are adding /v1 /, right? What I am going to do in this, I am going to add /v1 /. So this is the thing that we need to add. Now after this you will see set query parameters. So here I am going to add both the parameters that you can see into this API key and email. So for that I am going to click on add key and again add key. So first of all we need to copy API key, and what it is a string, right? And let's make it required because it is a required, and similarly I will provide email. If you closely notice, this is the second parameter that we have. So here I am going to add email, and it is also a string, and let's make it require as well, because every single time we are going to get the input from the user, because we make the input component required. So now after this you will see provide sample response. So here I am going to click on new, and if you open the documentation of this particular email validation API, you will see response. So you need to click on copy and simply paste into this. Click on review. So you will see this error. I don't know why we get this error, but again let me try it. Again still I am getting the error. So what I will do, I will simply go to JSON formatter and I will paste the same into the left hand side and click on format/beauty. I will copy it from here and now paste it into the sample JSON response and click on review now. So see, now it is working fine. So maybe there is something issue with the comma and all. So that's how you can do that. So these are the attributes that you can see, right? Like quality score, deliverability, autocorrect and all. So these are the attributes that you will get once you hit the API. So here I am going to click on done. So you will see a tick sign once you provided the response of the API, right? Now what I am going to do, I am going to click on save. So once external service and HTTP callout action is created, you need to provide a name to your HTTP callout action. So here I am going to type validate email. Now after this, in the API, you need to provide the API key that you will get from the abstract API website. So here I am simply going to copy this primary key over there and move back to the flow builder, and here I am going to create a new resource that is going to be the variable, or let's say constant, and let's say API key. In the data type it is going to be text, and in the value I will provide the API key. I am going to blur it because of my personal account, right? You need to provide your API key here in order to try it, but make sure you first create an account on the website, which is abstractapi.com, right? Let me just click on done. Now in the email, you will you know that we are providing email from the screen component, so you need to move into screen components and click on email, and then you need to click on value, right? And this is the thing that you need to perform, and then you need to click on done. Now once everything is done, we need to check like, okay, when the API hit is successful, then only we are going to show the result. So for that, what I am going to do, I am going to click on decision element, and let's say check for status code. Then in this I am going to type success. So that means when you click on the resource, you will see output from validate email, that means action. Click on it and you will see response code equals 200. So if it is successful, right, you will get a 200 status code over there. So here I am going to click on done, and you will see now the flow is bifurcated into two parts. Here I am going to click on success and add a screen over there to basically provide all the information that I get from the API response. So here I am going to type display text and add it onto the screen. So let's say email validation result. Now after this, in this insert a resource, I am going to type email deliverability and what is the third, what is the next better attribute? Quality score. Quality score. So in the email, I am going to click on insert a resource, and you will see output from validate email. Again, you will see 2xx, you need to click on this, and you will see all the attributes that you will get from the response. So now from here, you need to click on email in order to get the email. Now in deliverability, you need to click on validate email action, click on 2xx and then deliverability, and similarly for the quality score. So in this 2xx and let's say quality score. So these are the parameters that I am going to provide, right? So if you want to make it more appealing, you can add your custom settings, fonts, etc. Right? For example, let's say if I want to do, I will make it Vardhana, and let's click on done. Okay, I need to provide the screen label. So let's say email validation response, and here I am going to click on done. So this is the flow that I build in order to get the response by hitting a email validation API, right? So now what I am going to do, I am going to hit save, and let's say email validation, hit save again, and let's click on debug. So let's click on run. So here I am going to provide my email address, for example shubhambhardwajsf@gmail.com, and click on validate email. So now you will see email shubhambhardwajsf@gmail.com, deliverability is deliverable and quality score is 0.95. That means our flow is working absolutely fine. And you can also see the debug details. First of all, we provided an input into the screen component, right? Then the action element that we created for HTTP callout is basically hit over there. Then we have decision, that is checking like whether the response code is 200 or not. So it is 200, so it will move into the screen path, and then basically we are displaying this screen. So here if I click on finish, you will see the screen debug details as well. So these are the inputs for the debug details. So let's say if I change input and click on run again, this time I will provide some random email, right? So let's say abc.com and click on validate email. So this time you will see, oh strange, it says deliverability, it is deliverable, weird. So let me click on finish and try again for some other one. So let's say shubham@gmail.com and click on validate email. So now you can see deliverability is undeliverable, quality score is 0. So that's how you can hit APIs from your Salesforce Flow, right? So this is for the get callout. So let me try one more, because in the second part I am also going to create another get callout Salesforce Flow video, right, which you can see how we can hit more different type of APIs, right? So on to the second part, I am also going to show you how you can use loops in order to get multiple data from the API. So for now, in today's video, that's it. I hope the setup and all is clear to you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe this channel, and make sure to check out our Salesforce Flow course if you want to learn Salesforce Flow from scratch. For now, that's it. Thank you so much.